brimstone.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast, the best independent gaming talk show that you've discovered today.
And in the world.
Such a glowing review of ourselves.
Welcome to the show. FinalEncounterCast.com is the website. Make sure that you check that out. Hit that follow button. Come and hang out with us every Sunday. That's at 5 o'clock here on twitch.tv/FinalEncounterCast. By the way, this show stays weekly through your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Make sure that this show stays on the air each and every single weekend for you to enjoy. But you don't just get to listen to Final Encountercast. No, you also get to be a part of the discussion here on the show. Not very many podcasts do call-ins. Not a lot of Twitch channels do call-ins. It's actually a bit of a risk for most channels. They can't guarantee that who's calling in is going to be of quality or of repute. But it doesn't matter to us. We don't give a shit who you are. We're going to take your call anyway. Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764 is how you get a hold of us. Kookie is hanging out to take your call. She's going to pass you along to us, and we'll talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. If it's gaming, cosplay, whatever you want to talk about. Lines are open today. Final Encountercast, 810-207-1764.
Anime is always banned.
Yeah, you can't talk. Anime, wrestling, that's not going to happen.
No weebs.
No.
We had a whole episode about anime. You can't ban that.
Yeah, we've never had an entire episode about wrestling, so...
That is true.
That was the entire focus of the chat room running up to the show. I'm not sure why.
It was awesome.
I don't know how we got there. Well, maybe for you.
And for Kookie.
I don't know how it got there, but let's veer off of that and back to what we're here for, and
Back
that's to
to cool
discuss
stuff.
gaming. And there's actually so much to talk about in the world of gaming. Really excited to have you along. FinalEncounterCast.com is the website. Make sure you check that out if it's your first time joining us here today. Follow the podcast. Leave us some love on iTunes. It helps other people find the show. We would appreciate it if you gave us some reviews. We don't really care if you like the show or if you don't. Be honest with your review, but we just ask you that you give us some feedback on iTunes. This show is supported by Alamo City Comic-Con, October 28th through the 30th at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. Make sure that if you're coming out that you let us know, because we're going to be out there. We want to meet you. We're going to be announcing some exciting stuff out at Alamo City. So make sure that you get all of the details over at AlamoCityComicCon.com. Some exciting guests have been announced, including David Tennant, Karen Gillan, Billy Piper, and John Barrowman, all from the Doctor Who series, as well as some notable names from the View Askew universe, including Jason Mewes, who plays Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, but Brian O'Halloran, who is also Dante on Clerks, and Jeremy London, who played TS on Mallrats, all going to be in attendance out at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, October 28th through the 30th for Alamo City Comic-Con. Guys, join us. We're going to be super excited to announce all this stuff. We've been holding back. This has been probably the best kept secret that we've ever had.
We are really bad.
Only me and Nate know about it.
We're generally really bad at keeping secrets, but this one we've done a pretty good job keeping a lid on it. It's getting closer and closer to the reveal time, and so I think that we can now tell you that an announcement is coming. So make sure that you're watching Limit Break Radio and FinalEncounterCast.com around the time of Alamo City Comic-Con, because
the announcements are coming.
The announcements are coming.
They're going to be great.
Promise.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
Just like the dragons, yes.
It's gonna be so huge.
They're going to be so good. All right, guys, let's check out what is going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
Alrighty, guys. From Software has announced that there will be 2 DLC expansions to Dark Souls 3. The first is titled Ashes of Ariandel and will be available on PS4, Xbox One, and Steam on October 25th. There will be a second DLC that we do not yet know the title or the date of, but there will be a bundle where you can get both packs.
Yes! This looks so good.
The trailer came out and it looks awesome.
The monster design looks great. I think that some of the, the new, it looks like even new move sets or new miracles and spells being shown off there too. I'm so hyped for Dark Souls 3 DLC. And
I just love that the trailer keeps showing the player getting hit with stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that there's 2 chunks of DLC coming as well, which is, I think, the first time that we've seen 2 injections of DLC into a Dark Souls game. Previous to this, with Dark Souls 2, we only saw 1 DLC injection and a whole lot. I mean, they did change the structure of the game with Scholar and putting that out at for new consoles. But with the original game, it was a long time before we actually saw the Prepare to Die edition that came out for PC, and then even longer before console users got their chance to face off against Arthas and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see this happen.
We do have the trailer available.
We just lost Nika and Robbie's cams. I don't know if we lost the call too. Yeah,
I'm still here.
Well, that's good that you guys are still here. We're gonna watch. We're definitely gonna check out this trailer so you guys can have a second to figure out your cams. It may be that 4-hour call limit that Skype enforces, which is so friggin' frustrating. But all right, let's check out Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Ariandel. This is
Are we checking it out?
Yeah, we are. Okay. It's just they've got a bunch of logos to show off, just like every trailer ever.
Peggy 12.
Interesting that this is a snowy environment, though.
Why is that?
We've only seen a snowy environment once in Dark Souls, I think.
I see.
That I can remember, and that was in the painting.
I am Setsuna setting some trends, I see.
I really want to see the full design to that mob. The one that's I can't remember the exact word for it, but flagellating? I think that's the word.
Flatulating?
No.
Flatulating?
What? Wow.
No.
Maybe I should get into Dark
I don't
Souls.
think this is a game I want to play anymore.
Well, again, here, you've got another reference to paint. So I think that this has something to do with the painted world. Ariandel is not a name that is immediately coming to mind.
No.
But, I mean, my involvement with the Dark Souls series is pretty new, so I'm not sure if I should recognize it or not.
Well, and I mean, all the lore elements of that game are so cryptic.
That is true, too. I love this dude, man. I can't wait to farm some of that dude's armor. That fucking looks so good.
That move looks like such bullshit.
Oh, yeah, it really does. Can you imagine that in PvP? Oh, the fire breathing, that looks kind of cool. Dude, I'm so into all this. So into it.
The ashes have come. At last.
So we see some of the bosses from Dark Souls 3. These are like the normal bosses, and now we see some new stuff here. And that, oh my god, that looks crazy. What the fuck is going on there? Yes. He just put
metal on
yes.
You. Oh, what a badass!
Oh my god, I cannot wait for this. Oh my god.
In true Dark Souls 3 fashion, I have no idea what's going on in any of this.
Fantastic.
Death.
October 25th. So excited. I really wish, I kind of wish that I had bought the season pass for this. I regret not getting the season pass now.
Can't you still get it?
I don't know.
I think it's $20 and you can get it, and you'll get both DLC
you get both
expansions
for a discount.
Yeah.
They're $12 a piece otherwise.
I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Dark Souls, a fun new Easter egg popped up in Overwatch this week. In the Eichenwald map, an area modeled after a castle in Old Western Europe, there appears a bonfire with a sword in it. The map is currently available on the beta client, so it may be taken out before the official release, but no word on whether that'll happen. I don't think so, but maybe.
I like that little nod. It's a cool little nod. It fits in with the level design too. So yeah, I'm super into it.
Yeah, it's like they put a bonfire in, and it's like, and just in case you don't get that it's from Dark Souls, we put the sword in it too.
Yeah, right. It's a nice touch. I dig it.
Sony's PlayStation Now service will be moving to PC and Mac, rolling out first in Europe, then North America shortly after. In addition, they'll be releasing a DualShock 4 wireless controller adapter to allow players to use a PS4 controller on their computers. The adapter will run $24.99, but will also work with remote play for those players taking advantage of that.
Which is, I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. Have any of you guys tried the PlayStation Now service at all?
I have never used it.
No.
Robbie, Chris?
No.
I mean, because you guys
not yet.
Well,
I mean, it's
you guys own a PS4. I mean, we bought it for. How long ago was it that that the show bought you guys a PS4? I mean, it's at least a good 5 or 6 weeks by now.
Let's ask our accountant.
Right.
Yeah, roughly.
That's right. Okay. All right. So, we never really followed up. How are you enjoying the system? I mean, you guys must be using it a lot, right?
It's great, and for what we're using it for, it is absolutely flawless.
What are you using it for exactly?
Oh, what do people normally use it for?
Playing Blu-rays.
Playing games.
We play games with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what? What have you been playing? What have
Chris, you want to field this one?
We've been playing the games on the PS4.
Yeah, which ones? What did you get?
Games.
I mean, you had to. There was a game that came with the system, I assume. I mean, what have you been playing?
The game that came with the system, correct? That's what you just said.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is what?
Thank you.
Have you been enjoying it?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful game.
Very, very, very good.
I recommend it A++.
What did you do with the system?
Where were you?
Doesn't.
What pawn shop is it at?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be straight with you. All right. When we first got it, we were both so excited for it that we couldn't decide who was gonna play it first. Right.
Right.
So every time that I get a chance to finally be able to play, it's hit it on me, so I can't. And I always find it just before he gets a chance to play it, so I hide it. And it's turned into this terrible game of cat and mouse, and we haven't actually been
I
able
don't
to
think
play
I quite believe this story. This is
so believable, though.
No.
I'm so believable in my conviction.
No.
That's not something adults do.
His conviction is very, very high.
There you go, Nika. There's your problem. We're not adults, are we?
You should have gone with the King Solomon approach that you guys cut it in half and you each got half of it.
Have you taken it out of the box?
Which box are you referring to, first of all?
Technically, the truck that delivered it is like a big metal box, and it came out of that.
Oh my
so we took it out of a box. Correct.
They haven't even opened it.
Which game were you intending to play on it when you...
I assume it came with the Nathan Drake game. Is that right? Is that right, Chris?
I do believe so.
The reason that we decided this was a good purchase to make.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So what were you actually intending?
The reason that we decided to make this purchase was because I'm going to need it for FF7 Remake eventually anyway. And
Really?
I wanted to make sure that I had it for the day that I got PlayStation VR. So.
And I was looking really, really forward to playing Final Fantasy 15. And now we have to wait another couple months for that.
Not to mention, what else were we going to do with the money? Wait for Nika's graphics card to break again? Wait for Nate to spill more mysterious liquid in his? I mean, come
Yeah, I could use some more RAM, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly, PS4 is money well spent.
Yeah, a PS4 that's collecting dust.
It's not collecting dust. It's in the box.
The box is collecting dust.
Okay, well, if you want the box so bad, we will send it to you.
I think we need to return this.
And by the way, it's not the
Get our money
PS4
back.
box collecting
I'll take-
dust. That
I'll
is
take
protected.
Higher PlayStation, because currently Seren and I are trying to figure out how we are both going to play FF15 without spoiling it for the other one.
Play it together.
I
both play.
suggested that, but like we're not going to want to sit and watch a
share
one-player game
everything.
while the other person plays it.
So set timers. Imagine this. Imagine you had children. How would you settle this dispute between them? It's a good practice situation.
It's a little bit different because we both want to play the entire game.
Oh my
So
god.
it doesn't really work that way.
It doesn't apply to them because they're adults.
Oh, cool. Your cameras went down again. That's fun.
Great.
Thanks, Skype.
Yay.
Well, speaking of Sony, they have added two-step authentication to people's accounts, though players have to opt into it. The company, which suffered a severe hack some 5 years ago that compromised the information of 77 million users, has finally seen fit to add another layer of security. Players who opt in will be sent a code via SMS that they have to input along with their login information.
Yeah, this seems long overdue. I mean, we've had two-step verification for things like WoW accounts and, MMO accounts for a long time.
FF11 had two-step verification.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. Like, this seems inexcusable that Sony's only just now getting on this bandwagon and making this even an option for their folks.
Just that it took 5 years after one of the worst security breaches in gaming history. They're like, you know what? Maybe we do need this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty frustrating, and especially and Kooky mentions that Pelly's account was hacked. Right before this. So
Figures.
There have got to be people who have had problems with their account that see this and just go, "Why did it take this long? This is insane."
Nintendo has completed the sale of their majority share of the Seattle Mariners baseball organization. Reportedly, they sold their share to other owners of the organization for a sum of $661 million. They do retain a 10% ownership, however, and the former chairman of Nintendo of America, Howard Lincoln, will remain on the board of directors to oversee Nintendo's interests. I thought that was kind of interesting that they're selling off major assets like that.
I don't know.
Has the Seattle Mariners been doing good?
No. Not in the last decade.
Then they're just dropping bad assets,
Yeah, I think so.
It could be. They also did mention that it was one of the things, they started re-examining a lot of their major investments after Iwata-san died. So maybe the Mariners were his thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, investing in a baseball team was like one of those old school rich dude moves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's. I don't think that's as highly sought after by professional sports has actually lost a significant amount of shine and attention.
Clearly, esports is where it's at.
I mean, a lot of people would make that claim. I don't know that I would, but yeah, I think that that this is an interesting move, and I mean, yeah, I think that Chris is right that you're just selling off bad assets. So.
Yeah. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé has acknowledged that Nintendo must do a better job helping customers understand the NX and what its capabilities are than they did with the Wii U. They have had discussions about the shortcomings of their presentation of the Wii U and are eager not to repeat that mistake with the upcoming NX. That said, they still have not given any concrete details about the system other than that it's a dedicated gaming system.
That clears things up.
Because it's not a console or mobile. It's just dedicated gaming system.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, look, I get that Microsoft's attempt to make both a high media console and a gaming console didn't exactly work, and it didn't really pull anybody away from Sony that wouldn't have already been spending their money at Sony. But I mean, when they say a gaming, like a gaming exclusive console, are they saying that it won't even include things like Netflix and
I'm sure it'll include those things as
dedicated
apps.
gaming is different from exclusively gaming, isn't it?
Yeah, PS4 is dedicated gaming, isn't it? Even though it has majority other things.
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
But isn't that Nintendo's that's their go-to these days? Let's just use vague terminology that's not well defined.
I feel like Nintendo is trying to keep a secret like in the third grade, but they want everyone to know they have a secret. They're like, there's this really cool, awesome thing, guys, on the playground, but I can't tell you about it, but I promise it's awesome.
And it's right over there in the corner.
You ever said, is it the monkey bars? No. But it looks a lot like monkey bars are, and you monkey around on it.
But it might not be the monkey bars themselves.
It's like, come on, just Nintendo, please.
What are you hiding at this point? The game's out in 8 months? Or the system's out, rather?
Is it?
No.
Isn't it spring
No.
2017?
How I don't know. Like, can you trust any actual like release date that has been floated out there? Because like we haven't seen anything.
I know.
I think you have to see a tangible product first.
Oh my God, that's right. Not a single thing, not a silhouette, nothing.
Nothing.
No. But they
No.
still have. They
Nothing.
keep using the phrase spring 2017 for it.
From and this is like from the company that is like king of the console reviews. Like, do you remember their console reviews like back in the late 90s from E3? Dude, they knew how to hype a console. They knew how to hype a console. And yeah, we've not seen a single thing. Nothing.
Ultra 64 is coming. We may rename it.
Dolphin, remember how much like was circulating around about the Dolphin project? And I mean, like, there's just nothing. There's nothing right now except for these vague, leaks from Nintendo and
All these buzzwords.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, see, they're going with the cannonball strategy here. See, they're just going to release like kind of vague stuff or whatever, and then they'll be like, all right, press release, Nintendo Clubhouse, bam, Nintendo NX is actually called blah, 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 and it's going to come out Tuesday. That's how they're going to do it.
But it's not going to be
Think
called
of
the
the buzz.
NX, because that actually kind of sounds,
Well, is that
That's clearly a code word.
is that a good way to market your system? I mean, is that a good way to market your product?
No, hold on, Nate.
I'm not. Oh, I'm not. I'm not. Look. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm asking the question. That's all.
I don't think it matters because the bubble's going to buy it no matter what.
I mean, that's true. And I mean, look at how many more people were willing to check out Pokemon Go because of its fast release. Like,
Yeah.
no one knew that it was coming out, and when it came out, it was like, oh my God, I got to check this shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I had been anticipating that, I'm not sure that I would have been as active to download it.
Chris, I'll lose my mind if they're like, it's coming out on Tuesday, go! It's
Well,
like,
I
that's
mean,
the race.
There's no way. Like, that would actually, that may, as, fine, whatever, call me being overserious, but that could actually, like, create some very real safety concerns for, like, stampedes on stores and stuff.
Look, shut up.
No, I'm serious.
Look,
you ever seen?
It's not like a Vaporeon is spawning somewhere.
No,
Come on.
come on. Do you actually forget that someone held their piss for so long to try to win a Wii when a Wii was a new system that they died? They died. They actually fucking died.
man.
No, it's not. That was a real idiot. That was a real radio promotion. It was called Wii for a Wii. The person died because of it, and the radio station got sued. And it was one of the big reasons that like radio stations stopped doing stunts that involved the audience. Like that actually that affected me on a professional level. So no, it's not a fucking
It's
urban
true.
myth.
It is
That is
true.
100% true. Look
Oh,
at
hey, Len.
Wii for a Wii.
Okay, well, no one's going to have to hold their piss to get a Nintendo NX.
No, but I mean, like, can you imagine if they gave people a 2-day like a 2-day run up to be able to figure out where the fuck to buy it?
You know
Yeah,
what?
like something else to keep in mind too is besides the Wii U, the Wii did incredibly well, and people were always out looking for that. So
I can't see them doing it that quickly. I mean, one of the
No.
biggest things, I remember people waiting in line for 2 days to buy a Wii.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
I can't imagine them just being like, okay, go get it, guys. And they're like, but
It'd be insane.
I'm not in line yet.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's called
them-
pre-orders, guys.
Get them on Amazon.
Yeah, or just like go to your local GameStop because people go there apparently, and put your money
That's a
down
lie.
for a pre-order on a NX, and then just fill all the orders, and it'll be done.
That
Nobody
said,
goes to
I could see
GameStop
spring
anymore.
2017. I could see NX pre-orders for Christmas this year.
Yeah, if
That
it's good.
I would expect.
Oh my God, really? Like, you really think that it could come out at Christmas?
No,
this
not
year?
Christmas. Pre-orders for Christmas. Pre-orders go live Christmas.
Pre-orders.
Spring
No,
2017
no.
release.
Dude, that seems. Well, yeah.
why would they release it in spring?
Well, that is what we've heard. That is supposed
Yeah.
but when you think about it, I mean, I'm wondering the same thing, Robbie. Like spring seems like a really weird season to release it in. Most consoles come out in the Christmas season.
But Nintendo has never done what most people do.
We have our
Let's
bubble.
be real here.
But spring is also like, oh hey, kids are going back to school. It's warming up now. People can go outside. Just from a business standpoint, that just doesn't seem like the smartest move.
Yeah, I mean, like, for a game like Pokemon Go to release right in the middle of summer, that was brilliant. That was brilliant because that's when, like if that game had launched in the dead of winter, like think of how much less successful that would have been. You know what I mean? Like I actually wonder about Pokemon Go and how, like, what kind of fall off we're going to see, because we've already seen an immense fall off in time spent in the app and people's engagement in it. But like, what is it going to look like in winter when we're really restricted by where we can go? So right now it's really easy to just throw on, a pair of sandals or some shoes and walk around. But like when you've got to put on like 6 layers to even go outside without like harming yourself, that creates an entirely different dynamic. I think I would check out of that as
off.
Well, and that is true, but of the places of where that's not true, like, I mean, we definitely live in a place where it gets very cold. What are we going to do? And especially if they're talking about releasing Gen 2 in November. I mean, like that's...
Are they saying that?
Maybe they're planning on global warming, because remember, we didn't actually get snow till January last year.
That's funny.
Well, it'll be summer in Australia around that time. Maybe they're counting on Australia holding them up.
The rumors are saying that, November should be when we see Gen 2, which puts it on a 6-month cycle to put in new generations. So, I mean, that's just the rumor. I can't confirm that at all. But yeah, it really does make me wonder what the game's engagement is going to look like, and indeed what AR games in general will look like in the winter. I mean, I think it's going to change the face of the game.
Yeah,
that's all we have to say about the NX. Pokemon Go in winter.
Well, Target is jumping on the Pokemon Go train, but rather than do something that might entice customers, like putting lures down in their nearby Pokestops, they've decided to paint the large red balls outside their stores to look like Pokeballs.
Shit, yeah!
Awesome. I need to go check my Target.
Not like some type of copyright thing, though.
Well, they probably struck a deal with Pokemon.
All right, fair enough.
Right.
But why is that enticing anyone to go there?
I don't know.
I just said I need to go check out my local Target and see if they did it.
Why?
Because there's giant Pokeballs, man.
Awesome.
Are you going to drive by the outside or go inside and actually shop?
I actually do like Target, so if I drove all the way out to Target, I would probably go inside.
Yeah, but like you can't guarantee that good Pokemon spawn out there.
Stop justifying their lazy marketing.
But it's Target not just for the Pokemon, but because Target's
why else would you go anywhere ever?
Anywhere ever specifically for Pokemon?
That's right. I only go places where I find good Pokemon. That's why I'm at 141. People ask me what my secret is. That's my secret. I never stop. I only go where good Pokemon spawn, period.
Which is never leaving your house.
Yes, there's never wasted time. No downtime. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know about you, but I want to put my balls on a giant Pokeball.
Jesus.
God damn it. That's going to be the next. It's going to be like the next appraisal dick joke. It really is. People are going to go and be like, look at my huge Pokeballs. And
straight up.
It's going to make me want to kill people.
Why do we have to prove every time that like we can't have nice things?
Right? Exactly. See,
so predictable.
Someone like Chris comes along and ruins it.
Welcome to my life. I live with him.
Before,
you made that choice.
Real quick, before we move off of Pokemon Go here, because we're about to get into some FF15 discussion. Before we move off of Pokemon Go, just wanted to real quick say how much I enjoy the appraisal system and how much that was a really nice addition to the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed. It's actually changed some of my priorities when playing Pokemon Go.
Was that sarcasm?
No.
What? I hate the appraisal system.
Why?
Because you probably don't realize how it works.
Because
it's actually
too generic.
much more useful than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's super useful.
It is useful.
I have to look up what they actually mean by that.
See, Chris is one of those that's like, just give me the fucking numbers.
It doesn't have to be the numbers.
Just give me the numbers.
The only ones you have to memorize are the best first comment and the best last comment, and if it's anything else, get rid of it.
Exactly.
Okay,
See?
you gotta know. It's not coherent. Like, you have to figure out what the best message is, but they're all like, this Pokemon's pretty good, or this Pokemon's all right. It's like, every Pokemon is good. It's like, no, not every Pokemon is good. Say this one's garbage and say this one's good, and then I can know, okay, keep the good one. Not,
they kind of do say that, though.
They don't. They have to like be like, oh, everyone gets a trophy. Every Pokemon is good.
That's not true.
It's really easy for Mystics. Like, if she says a Pokemon is breathtaking, it's
So
great.
easy.
If it's not breathtaking, it's garbage. That's the answer.
Okay, so breathtaking for you. I don't know what my really good one
It
is
takes
yet.
5 seconds to look it up.
Wow,
do you have
this
to look it
Pokemon's
up?
amazing. It can accomplish anything.
Wow.
So is that the phrase? I don't know.
Yes, it is. And then
How do you even?
Oh my God, you're
I wish I
so
could hit him.
stupid.
Hit him for me.
Yeah,
Hit him for me.
Seriously, Joe, you idiot. It takes 3 minutes to figure out. There's only 4 possible messages that you can get.
But why does it have
And
to
only
be like
one
this?
matters.
Terrible.
Oh my God.
That you have been playing MMOs for like 15 years.
Yeah.
You've never had to look something
Lazy
up before.
shit.
You jackass.
Oh my God.
This casual game for casuals needs to be more casual for me. That's what I'm saying.
He used to hate
Make it
having to
more
look up his fame status in Sandoria, didn't he?
Right? Yeah, it's bullshit.
If it says you're a hero, you're a hero. Congratulations.
God damn it. Anyway, no, but not just that, but in the last couple of weeks, nest migration has happened. So if you live near any nests, the type of Pokemon that spawn in that nest has shifted. You can find the chart if you look around like the Sylph Road subreddit or the Pokemon Go subreddit, as well as, so that has actually shifted my focus of the game. I was ready to check out. I was so ready to be done until I checked that nest migration chart, and it said that the nest that I work near migrated to a Kabuto nest. So I have spent so much time catching Kabutos. I'm at 200 Kabuto candies. It's awesome.
This game literally just gives you everything you want.
It's
I know.
the only.
I
it's
hate that he was the one that was the least excited about
I know.
this game and gets the most out of it.
It's fantastic. It's like Niantic is listening to this show and going, I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to prove that one guy wrong, and I am going to make sure that his game is awesome the whole time. I mean, like, honestly, it sort of did to make me into one of the biggest cheerleaders for this game. So
Too bad SE can't do the same thing.
I know,
Clearly.
right? Look at how easily I can be manipulated to be a fan of your product.
Right?
I'm just saying, everyone's got their price, and mine is a Kabutops. That's all it takes.
And Nate's
That's
is
all
lower
it
than
takes.
you'd like it to be.
That's
You
right.
might not want to tell your friends about that.
Yeah, all right. That's it for Pokemon Go.
Hajime Tabata has confirmed in an interview with Famitsu that roughly half of Final Fantasy 15 will be open world. The game, which is told over 16 chapters, is said to take between 40 and 50 hours, and the first half will be open world while the second half shifts into a linear path that progresses the story.
So?
And that's gonna...
So basically it's gonna be Final Fantasy 13, but reversed?
Yeah, that's what I thought. When I first heard it, it's like it's the exact
never
reverse.
Been, with the exception of FF12's hunt system, there has never been a Final Fantasy that's been open world at all. So I think that the fact that at the end of the game they want to have it a little more linear to finish the story is not going to be as bad of a problem for making it sound.
Except that's not what people are seeing, okay? Because I would consider something like Final Fantasy X open world because the world was always open to you. The reason that FF13 is looked down upon isn't the fact that it's linear, it's that it's so linear that after you visit each area, that's it. It's gone forever. There's nothing there. You walk through a hallway, you watch a cutscene. You walk through a hallway, you watch a cutscene. Now, if this just means you get access to all over the place at the beginning of the game, and then for the end of it, it turns more like FF10-ish, all right, fine, sure. I can get behind that. But if it's like once you pass a certain point in the game, then that's it. You don't get to go back. You only go forward to hit the end.
I doubt that will happen.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't see them cutting off all exploration.
Ah.
No, I can't see them cutting off all exploration after a game is completely open world at the beginning. I feel like it's because at the beginning you're on a fucking road trip where you can literally just take your car wherever the fuck you want, and then shit actually happens, like what happens in Kingsglaive, and you're like, oh shit, I actually have responsibilities now. I'm gonna go actually do what I'm supposed to be doing, and then you have to follow the story. It makes sense, and I think that anyone who's freaking out over this is just overreacting, and it's going to be fun.
What are you doing, Callie?
He's protecting himself from spoilers.
Oh, come on. That's not even there was no spoilers. By the way,
I was not taking a chance.
He was being proactive.
I heard Kingsglaive, and I was like, oh, crap.
Nika, don't mention any plot points from the anime or Kingsglaive. We have to keep that out for
I don't know how much he knows. Does he know there's a car?
Nothing. Well, I know there's a car, yeah.
Okay, because
Jesus.
Do you know the anime is completely garbage? It's literally the most boring anime I've ever
oh my gosh,
watched.
it's the worst.
How many of it have you watched?
I've actually watched all 4 episodes.
No.
I have.
How long are they? Are they a half hour each?
They're like 20 minutes each, 15 minutes.
Really?
15, ish.
Yeah, they're good.
It's so boring. It's like a high school anime, except even more boring.
No, it's the backstory of how he met all of his friends. It's really good.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Oh, no.
It's
I'm actually
not
hearing
bad at all. It's so good. You're the only person
Oh,
I know
no.
that said that, Juxta.
Oh, no.
Chris, the only person. The only person.
I'm really worried. I think that...
Why does nobody take my opinion as anything?
Because your opinions are wrong, Nika.
Kristen's opinion, who is known to be a troll over me, is a legitimate fan of this entire series. Come on.
That's the point. You can't be objective.
Yes.
I can't be because 13 was trash, and I can be extremely objective about it.
But I like 13.
Here's the thing. Nika can't be objective, but he chooses not to be objective. So he's no better.
You're not wrong.
It's bad, and like I had high expectations for 13. Like I actually watched that trailer when 13's trailer dropped multiple times. I was so stoked, and the game came out, and I cried. It was so bad. So
yeah, but I mean, like I just my expectations are not even high for 15. Again, like look, we've also talked about the additional delay that the game is going through, an additional 2 months in development to make sure that they don't have a gigantic day one patch, which I really, again, I question this because like what can you do in 2 months that's really going to make that big of a difference? And why are you trying to avoid the day one patch? Is it just to avoid the negative sentiment around day one patches? Because what are you, did you print up a bunch of discs and now you're throwing those discs away? What actually is happening? I don't understand what the necessity.
There was a typo on there.
I don't understand the necessity of it.
They don't have enough money to pay the the publishing or the making company, the manufacturing company, so they had to wait a couple months to bring in more Final Fantasy 14 revenue.
Oh my god, I picture literally like they're getting ready to send it away for the discs, and they hit compile, and it failed to compile. And there's like, something's wrong, and now they gotta delay it while they go debug.
I mean, is this an indication of a deeply troubled development?
No, not at all. The thing is that this game's already been in development for 10 years. If that's not indicative, 2 more months is not going to change anything.
Nika has a great point, because the last awesome major game by a big company that's known to deliver, that was in development for 10 years, Blizzard's Titan... Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That didn't... Yeah, they're dead.
I'm saying if you weren't disheartened by its original 10-year release date, 2 more months should not change your mind, is all I'm saying.
I'm just hoping those 10 months, or those 2 months, will turn it into a turn-based game.
I love you guys.
Shut up.
Oh, thank you, Aegis. Appreciate it.
That's a kind
I love
remark.
you,
We don't get
Aegis.
that very much.
Yeah. So
Send
look.
pics.
Jesus.
Don't send
Please
pics. Don't. Do not encourage him. That is not necessary. That is not. You don't.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Not any kind of price that you have to pay for admission. Don't do that. Anyway, look.
PM me pics.
But what about the people who do, like, coming into this, who do look at that 10 years and wonder what took so long, and who aren't totally sold on this? I think.
But I mean, part of us already knows what took so long. It was originally going to be a different game. Development halted. They switched development teams completely, and they pretty much scrapped everything and started over. So there's a lot of explanation for it.
But Nika, you're missing the point, right? Like, we knew that you were going to buy it. You reserved one of those ridiculous special editions on the first.
When that shit came out, you were also on the bandwagon, though. You were on the hype bandwagon.
No, I
when
wasn't.
That,
No.
No.
Yes.
Talked on our show about how that reveal event changed your mind.
Wait a minute. Hang on. I said I was convinced by the trailer and what they showed off at that event. Okay, I
think I
was
even said
never,
something similar.
I was never ever sold by the special edition nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Don't even start with that shit. Nika, like a sucker, opened her wallet the minute she heard about that and shelled out for it the first moment.
I'm a merch.
Oh, shots fired.
There is no way that you get me to buy something like that. There is no way that I invest that much in a game that I have not that I've not played, that sight unseen. No friggin' way.
Unless it comes with a dildo that looks like Big Boss.
I'm glad you added on to that because it was really weird.
Hang on. Can you just try with the jokes a little bit? Like, that wasn't even related to the point of what we were talking about. It was like it wasn't even delivered with conviction.
That's not funny. You
can see the stall
That's
out.
never gonna be funny.
Yes, exactly. You can see the stall
Big
out.
Boss's name.
God damn it. Look,
And clearly he wants a Dark Souls dildo. Thank you very much.
here's
And I wasn't saying you were going to buy all the special stuff, but I remember after that event came out, you said that you were convinced that the game.
Yes, but the thing is that event, that entire event, the whole thing was structured around, we have a release date and we are revealing it. They made a big 1.5 hour production out of announcing when this shit was coming out, and then they have the gall to push it back. Like, for the people who are on the fence and convinced by that event, and not to say, look, I'm all in, but I'm like, all right, I'm kind of in. Pushing it back 2 months says a lot to me and makes me bail. I'm out again, and I don't mean to sound that fickle, because I am a Final Fantasy fan. I've been into it for the entirety of its existence, okay? But the fact of the matter is that they have not sold me that 15 is even going to be a serviceable game. They barely sold me on that very, very tightly scripted event, and then they lost me again when they showed off more of the gameplay and more of the dialogue and more of the voice acting out at E3. That made me check out even a little bit more, because that was subpar quality, and you know it. It was B- anime grade acting, and it was shitty. And I'm not expecting a whole lot out of this game anymore. And the fact of the matter is that them pushing it back 2 months, to me, says that this is in very, very big trouble.
I will say that I will give you the fact that because they made such a big deal out of the release date at the event, that bothers me a bit, because you're right, it was structured around the release date.
How do you have your own event? And it's not like it was a streamed only event that they pulled a couple of devs over into a conference room and set up a GoPro to be able to do. This was in the Los Angeles concert hall. Like, this was in a big fucking concert hall to be able to make this announcement in front of both a live audience on stream and sitting in the audience. How do you do that? That is a bungling of epic proportions.
Have you watched the voice actor reveal trailer, though? There's actually new footage and stuff in it. It's so good.
Bother me. It will give
so
me
good,
2 more
guys.
months
It's
to
so
try
good.
and save up for
Take
the
Nika's word
collector's
for it.
edition of
Oh my
the
God,
game.
Robbie! Seriously, shut the
Smiley
fuck up
face.
over donations. My God, how do you not have that open?
I did.
Apparently, you
Don't
didn't.
minimize it.
The sound might have been.
I mean, like,
No, it was minimized. Sorry.
Don't minimize it.
when everyone's not talking, what do you think is happening? That's not a donation, jackass!
That was
Fucking idiots!
That was good though.
Oh my God!
Funny. No, but have you watched the voice actor reveal?
It's terrible.
Are you serious?
Terrible.
Not bad at all. Like, it just came out like a week ago, the new one.
I'm gonna go back to what I said. It's B- grade anime voiceover nonsense. It's not even good voice acting. It's like the voice acting that I would expect out of a Fate anime. It's bad. It's not good.
What?
It's not good. Not impressed at all.
I think you actually watched it.
I did.
Like the new one that just came out?
Whatever they had at E3 that had look, all you need to know about the voice acting is the shit that these characters say when they're doing moves. Like, what is some of the stupid, dumb catchphrases that they say? Like, you're gonna get iced, like when they use an ice spell or some shit like that.
Chill out.
Yeah, like that stupid
I'm on fire.
Yeah. I mean,
Zap.
That's not what was in the trailer, though. It was actually like cutscene stuff that was.
Good cutscene stuff. Like that's going to be the stuff that bothers me. No, it's going to be the stuff that happens in battle and during gameplay that irks the shit out of me. I mean, like honestly, for a company like Square-Enix, they could be doing a lot better with the voice acting talent that they hired. I honestly think that this is B- quality work. It really is.
It reminds me of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy X, and that was so early on in terms of voice acting that, some of that is pretty forgivable. But I mean, like, why? I don't understand why Square Enix tries to make their products so anime. I mean, they really are.
Because they're based in Japan.
They don't have to be, though. Like, they don't have to be that anime
don't
inspired.
Be so anime.
Right? I mean, is there some in between that we can find? Do all of our characters have to be fucking, like anime tropes? Does the one guy with glasses have to do the thing?
That's my favorite trope ever.
They have to.
It's not. It's awful.
It's so good.
It's patently awful,
He's my
and
favorite.
It makes me cringe. It makes my balls retract into my body because I want to be a fan of this shit. Is the thing is I want to like it and I want to be able to defend it, but like I feel like I can't. Some of it is so bad. What?
So you're making me very sad.
Very sad?
He's
Very
showing
sad.
you the reality of the situation. It is sad.
No,
it is.
You are making me sad because.
Why? Because the game's going to be a clusterfuck?
It's not. I don't know where you're getting so like.
10 years. 10 years. 10 years.
10 more years.
I know, but everything you're saying is so negative. Where until like a couple of weeks ago, you had a fairly positive outlook. Now all of a sudden it's delayed,
After
and you're like,
E3,
nope, it's all going to
after
shit.
E3. Well, I mean, when you push back the release date after you make the biggest deal about it in the world, like that speaks volumes to me.
Wait, this game started started on production when we started LBR?
Yeah.
Bro.
They announced Versus 13 back then, but to be fair, it's not the
probably
same
started
team.
even
It's
longer than
barely any of the same resources. It's not the same.
Well, they just think at this point, like, we can't release this game because then
I don't know.
Then LBR will outlast us.
They only ever switched out one character, Nika. The character models have always been the same because it's always been Noctis.
The scenery and environment and stuff, a lot of it's different, and like the battle effects and the battle system, it's all different.
I don't know. I think all of the things that I see in the trailer are things, even the Versus 13. I think that's all been pretty well represented throughout the various media.
Kingsglaive used some of the old resources. I noticed.
Yeah.
But like, the actual game, none of the gameplay and stuff has shown anything that was originally shown for Versus 13. Not really.
Seen.
So I mean, but again, like
that should. Honestly, that actually affects me more. That they've spent 10 years in development and how much of it was just trashed and thrown out.
Well, I mean, but what system were they even developing for back 10 years ago? Like, of course they had to throw a lot
announced
of
it
it
at
away.
the same time as 13.
Well, and let's be honest. Up converting stuff, textures and assets between PS3 and PS4 is much easier than it was in previous console iterations. Once we started moving to 3D environments, that's why we see so many HD remasters and stuff like that, because that stuff is really easy to upconvert cheaply and quickly. And
not so much for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well, they're redesigning the whole thing.
Yeah, they're remaking. That's not just an upscale. That's
Right.
That's the joke, you guys.
But you know what? No. For the PC version, they did upscale that and they put some new textures in there. So there's it again. It's not the most difficult thing, or it's not it's not totally inconceivable to think that a lot of the assets that they had started to develop for Versus 13 did end up being used in the production of 15. Again, since we didn't really see a whole lot of character shifts, we didn't see a whole lot of setting shifts, we didn't see a whole like these are the same assets that we've been seeing for 10 years. So what makes you think that the 10 years thing doesn't matter? Because to me, all of those things, I know I'm being very negative, but like all of those things to me add up to a lot of problems. And I mean, I got to look at it objectively. Like I can't, anymore, I can't just be a blind fan of this shit. Like I can't just ignore the stuff that when I see it in trailers makes me go, ugh. And again, the 2 months thing, man, it's ridiculous.
Nero, I'm with you, and the thing that's bothered me the most is I want to throw a little bit of information here at you, Nika, and then I want you to tell me what would happen if this does fail, right? Because there's a chance. I know that you have this steadfast.
No, I believe that it may not be great, but keep going.
Okay, so keep this in mind. Between Final Fantasy 4 and 5, there was 1 year. 5 and 6, 2 years. 6 to 7, 3 years. 7 to 8, 2 years. 9, 1 year. 10, 1 year. 12, 6 years. 13, 3 years. And now suddenly 10 years? And that's just since it was announced.
Yeah.
Since Final Fantasy 13, that was released in 2009.
Right, but they did 13.2 and 13.3, which they focused all of their efforts into.
Okay, they focused all of their efforts into them. The same way they're focusing all of their efforts into this?
I mean, yeah, it's not like their recent development patterns in history have been anything to really go by. I mean, if you look at that I think that spells more trouble than anything.
I think that the Square and Square-Enix has been dead ever since they merged.
Well, I mean, we talked about that, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
But I mean, 13.3 came out 3 years ago. It's not that long of a gap in between the development cycles as it once was.
But we're talking about like mainstream numbered Final Fantasy.
But that's how they treated those.
Okay, well that's how
we
they
weren't happy
treat
about it, but that's how they treated them.
That's not how the fans treat it. Like when we want the next Final Fantasy, we don't want Final Fantasy 10.2 or 13.3 or 11.
And think of how those games are received too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 10.2 was not a commercial success. I would say it took 5 years for really the bulk of Final Fantasy fans to figure out, oh, that's actually a decent game under there.
Underneath the fan service.
Yeah, exactly.
The awkwardness.
Yeah, and same thing with any of the direct any of the direct sequels that any of the Final Fantasy games have. Like 13.2, Lightning Returns. None of those are quite as well received as their initial main numbered Final Fantasy titles. And again,
wasn't 13.2 well received as the best out of the three? I believe
the
that.
The story was god awful.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, I don't think it sold the best out of the three. Do you? Like, I mean, if you look at its sales records, I definitely don't think that it moved more units. 13 had to have moved way more units.
13 did move.
Yeah.
But I hear that the gameplay in 13.2 was way better out of
that very well may be, but if nobody's playing the game because sentiment says that sequels suck, then what's the point of making a sequel? Why not just make that another Final Fantasy game?
The longest part of making a game is the game engine, and they have had the White engine. And Crystal Tools' engine failed during development.
So you turn the program on and then you just leave it going through your speakers.
Did it? What?
Yeah,
oh my God.
So did.
Hail to the king.
God.
Well, I don't know why the fuck it's going through my speakers.
Well, you should probably figure that out. Or you should show up to the studio, one of the two. I mean, if you were here,
his choice.
If you were here, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So what do you think about the game shifting into a linear perspective in the later parts of the game? That, because some people were kind of butthurt about that, but
I'm a little bit ambivalent about that.
That for me is kind of standard
what
protocol.
it means. It depends. Like, I mean, even FF10 after a certain, in most games after a certain point are like, okay, like even in The Witcher, they're like, all right, from here on out, you can't go back. If you have any side quests, do them now. Like, it tells you in a big pop-up box. Like, the second, the last leg of the game is a no point of no return.
But with the last leg of the game part, that's fine. Games do that all the time.
Right.
So long as this linearness isn't like it was in FF13, I will be okay with it. But the idea that here's all this stuff that we've designed, but now you can never, ever, ever, ever go back to it.
No, I don't think that in this day and age they would spend. I don't think they would spend this much time in this day and age on a game of this grand scale. I think it'll become linear, and then once you beat the game, you'll be able to go back and do all the extra side quests and explore the entire world again. Absolutely.
I hope so, but every time we give them the benefit of the doubt,
we get doubted on. Wait.
Well, no, I
can't see them shutting off the entire. Like, you beat the game and you can't even go back without restarting it to explore the world. There's no way.
Yeah. And also, it's not like the last leg. It's half the game is what they said.
Did they say it was 50-50?
I mean,
yeah.
So that's not like a leg.
Said
That's
by
like
half.
a whole torso. That's like starting at the dick and then going to the feet, man.
I kind of see it like Memoria or.
As long as there's still side quests and things along the way that take you out of this narrow path that literally even 13's dungeons were just a straight line. As long as it's not like that and there's still ways to explore the area that you're in, even if you can't, go back to where you were before, which also makes sense because, once I don't want to say too much, but once the things happen, well, Callie's here, it's not really possible to go back to that area, so it makes sense. Like, story-wise, you physically can't go back to that area.
I'm not nearly as concerned about that story as I am concerned about this growing monstrous DLC that seems to be planned for this game, because they're saying that it's going to have how many different pieces of DLC? And only some of them are covered by the season pass, others aren't.
That's ridiculous.
This is getting crazy.
Is it supposed to be extra scenarios and story, or is it side stuff? What is it?
I don't think that they've even
they haven't
specified.
said anything. Some of them don't even have titles yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, but
right,
DLC 6,
I'll
the
hold
expansion.
out on that judgment for that. Aspect.
I mean, that just seems like nickel and diming, and not only that, but I think that a lot of these DLC features are probably going to feel like core game features that they've stripped out to sell to you. And the fact that keeps happening over and over and over again in AAA development is something that's honestly making my stomach turn.
That's not an SE exclusive, Sin. That is everyone.
Yes, and that's the thing, is that it's hard to hold Square Enix accountable for that alone. They're definitely not, and I can't even blame them for doing what makes sense in the market right now. But I'm telling you that these growing DLC campaigns that strip core features out of your game. There's only so long that your consumer base is willing to put up with this shit. Really, that's it. I mean, I mean, we're going to have to move off of FF15 here in a second, but this is a good bridge into No Man's Sky, and the controversy that they've seen recently with their DLC announcements. Of course, that game got a whole lot of flack on its release because, of course, the multiplayer aspect was something that was not really available, and it was something that they had sold on many interviews, many press interviews, that you would actually be able to interact with other people, even though it was a very, very small chance that you could, that it could happen, but that it would be a core part of the game. And you would think that with games like Dark Souls being able to do something like that how long ago did Dark Souls come out? That was almost 8-9 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Was it 8 years ago? It was. Yeah. 2008, right?
God.
Maybe it was 2009.
I don't remember. But, you would think that a feature like that would be very easy, even for a small 10-studio operation, to be able to include in their game. So, now this week, we've got the and now I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I've heard it said so many times in the last couple of days, I can't remember the name of the lead dev from No Man's Sky. But he's been making some weird Twitter statements about the DLC attached to No Man's Sky, saying that there will be a fairly sizable, portion of DLC that's coming, and at first saying that it will be available for free, but then later backpedaling and saying that he may have overpromised and that it may not be feasible to make that available for free.
Wouldn't that be
They
a
probably
perfect
lost a whole bunch of
representation?
money when they heard how crappy the game was being received in certain
Well, I mean, right now, Steam is offering refunds for people who bought it. I mean, like, this has been one of the most critical launches, I think, since the Batman Arkham, that recent PC.
That they just straight up pulled.
Yeah, that they just straight up pulled. I mean, this is a pretty big deal, offering refunds for people who had purchased No Man's Sky. And I think that that's kind of an admission that the product didn't live up to the promises that the devs had made again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So, Robbie, I know that you had picked up No Man's Sky. What did you think about it, man?
All right. All this controversy aside, the game itself isn't a bad game. The only thing that I think is that's destroying this is the fact that it's not what they said it would be. It's completely different from what they said it would be. Like Nate said, there isn't a multiplayer component to it. Like, if you find, quote unquote, find somebody, they're not actually there, which I kind of sort of realized or guessed going right into the game, because you don't even get to customize your character or anything like that. They don't let you name your ship. Like, I can name this fucking flower that's sitting here on the ground that I'm never going to see again, but I can't name my ship, right? Now, the game itself is just like, a bunch of other resource gathering, building, exploring games that we've seen. Ark, Survival Evolved, I mean, Minecraft. It's essentially Minecraft. But it is a beautiful, huge universe. And what I like about it is it's something that I can sit down, I can turn on, I can, do work for LBR, I can watch Netflix.
Pull the other one.
Right, like I can watch porn, like whatever it is I'm doing, I can play this game at the same time, and whether I'm investing 1% of my attention into it or 100% of my attention into it, there's no repercussions, right? Like, you can just sort of stop and go, and that sort of kind of casual game is something that I've been looking for when I don't want to focus a lot of attention into an MMO or into streaming or something like that, right? And I've seen a lot of reviews that say that it's actually real cathartic. The best review I've seen so far, they picked it up, they jumped right into the story, they traveled to the center of the universe, and when they were done, they were like, that's it? Like, the story is just some dumb metaphysical philosophy bullcrap type thing, right? It's not a story at all. And they said they went back and played it on the PC, and this time, no, forget the story. Just going to do my own thing. They took their time exploring planets, getting to know them, and the idea that this planet was theirs, nobody else is going to come to this planet, that sat a little bit differently with them, and they played twice as long, and they had a lot more fun with it.
Yeah.
And when you look at it like that, this is actually it's actually a pretty cool game. And Nate, we were watching, I forgot what it was, but they kind of mentioned that, the idea of going to where all these aliens actually already were and renaming stuff that they already described was, just a nice commentary on white imperialism. So, there are things about this game that have merit, but it's not what they said it would be at all, so no one cares.
Right.
Wants to hear it.
And I think that's mainly the problem, is that, there may be a decent game under there, but the fact that the devs lied, and Sean Murray specifically got out there and lied so much about the features of this game that, and not only that, but the evasiveness in the wake of that fallout, I think that this is really hurt sort of the credibility of indie devs. I think that this is really like I mean, the gaming community looks at the promises that AAA titles make or AAA developers make, and they go, yeah, all right, and they take it with a grain of salt. A great example, and I was actually watching the Jimquisition, and I think he made the exact same comparison. But when you look at BioShock, BioShock Infinite and its first trailer, it showed off a lot of features that never really made it into the game, but people forgave it because it was a good game. And I think that people are less willing to forgive it because they were sold a different bag of goods with No Man's Sky than they bought. BioShock didn't represent itself as anything other than a BioShock. It's going to have variances in your the presentation, and there's going to be differences in the abilities that are shown off in your pre-alpha trailer versus what actually ends up there in the final development. There are certain moves that don't balance well. There's stuff that you think that is a good idea early on in development that as you add more things over time that don't end up being sustainable. You've got to, they end up being too overpowered, and you've got to take some of those powers out. A lot of that is to be expected with any game. Doesn't matter if it's a AAA, doesn't matter if it's an indie. But the fact that Sean Murray got out there and stated openly so many times on so many notable media outlets like the Colbert Report, like all of these different TV interviews, and said, look, you're going to be able to grief people, even if it is very lightly. The only way that you can tell what you look like is to find another player and have them show you what you look like. The fact that he said, like, look, you can meet other players, even though the chances of it are infinitesimally small. He said that it's possible, and we know that it's not. And when players find that out, and they find out that they've been lied to, you lose all of the goodwill, and you lose any of that wiggle room or that slack that the public is willing to cut you with some of that pre-alpha footage. I mean, they were showing off footage for this game that I don't think ever made it into the final product, even up to 2 weeks before its release. I mean, one
of the big things that sort of turned into a little bit of like a myth, but now could have been an outright lie, was you mentioned that footage. There was this giant snake going across the planet that you couldn't see either end of it. And they're like, yeah, giant animals like that, creatures like that will be in the game. And nobody ever found one. And it could just be they haven't. But looking at their track record now,
it's possible. And that's the thing, is that, once you poison that well, you really, as an audience, you just don't know. You have no idea what to expect. Well, you're right. If the multiplayer thing is a lie, what's to tell me that, all of this other stuff that you had showed off in your very packaged scripted trailers wasn't also a very well-crafted lie? Because again, I think people had a certain expectation set up going into this game, and when that wasn't met, that was very disappointing. I mean, I remember when they were trying to say that this game was going to have meaningful factions that you could join in and battle against, join in some big epic struggle for a star system. Where is that shit? That's a pretty core function of the game that seems to not exist. And that was a big stage presentation that they had made that claim at. So if you're out there and willing to make all of these claims, and then there's nothing even in the product to back it up, how are people supposed to trust you? I understand why people are so frustrated with Sean Murray right now, because they look at him like a liar.
Well, I think it might not even be so much what Sean Murray did. I think Sean Murray is, in a lot of ways, turning into the source of the anger for all the recent the Kickstarter failures that we've seen time and time again. People have gotten so tired of that sort of thing, and now they have a very convenient face to kind of direct that at with No Man's Sky. Maybe No Man's Sky was the biggest example of it, but
it's egregious. It's egregious, and you're right. I do also feel, Callie, that Sean Murray is becoming a bit of a whipping boy. and he's bearing the brunt of a lot of these failures. Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, there are certain expectations that are associated with this, and what bums me out about it is that it really hurts the credibility of anyone seeking crowdfunding.
Even beyond crowdfunding, anyone who needs who's dependent on a pre-release. I have not pre-ordered a game now in a year and a half. It's been ages. I won't do it anymore.
Pre-orders. Actually, that's a great question. I actually want to ask literally everyone. Pre-orders, Len?
I accidentally did No Man's Sky.
How do you accidentally?
I think he said actually.
No, actually. Okay.
I like accidentally.
Either or. I mean, tomato apricot, I guess.
Did you? Was it only just a pre-order? Pre-order through GameStop?
Through Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, what about you?
No, I don't do it no more.
And not even for something that you know is going to be decent, or at least that you know you're going to play. Pokemon? Have you pre-ordered Sun and Moon?
I have not. Actually, I will pre-order for Pokemon games, but...
do they have pre-order bonuses that come along with the game?
Not usually.
No.
No, but with something you need to buy a physical copy for, like a DS, the game stores will only
run out.
Select amount, and then if you don't reserve it, you're probably not going to get one for another month or two till the next shipment.
That's a good point.
I mean, go right ahead. Yeah.
And even then, I only pre-order it like the week before. So.
Yeah. You know what? I do that.
That's what I do.
I will take a step back. I am going to pre-order Fractured Butthole.
I already did that.
I'm going to do that, but that's because I get the stick.
You get, yes.
You get the stick
I get a whole new game too,
and the Towley DLC with it.
Look, I'm not saying that. Look, all DLC is a bad idea.
No,
there are some people who do it very, very well and who have great plans for that stuff. But I mean, like, really, between FF15, and their alarming DLC announcements, and some of the more disappointing, follow-throughs on releases, both indie and AAA. I just, the whole pre-order culture, I think, is starting to fade very quickly.
I don't know. Sarah and I pre-order like literally every game we want to buy. We pre-order.
Really?
Yeah,
Now, do you do that for the pre-order bonuses, or do you do that to ensure that you're getting it?
We always do it just to ensure we get it, number one. But if I buy a collector's edition, obviously is for the bonuses. But like, Surin just pre-ordered Deus Ex on Steam the other day, and there's really nothing you even get from doing that. Besides,
why pre-order then?
I don't even know what pre-order bonuses you would get from that, but he's been playing that since it came out now.
Why pre-order on Steam ever? Like, I just feel like I would just
buy it on the day.
I'm not so that it just like automatically starts downloading when it comes out. I don't know. But we just pre-order everything. I don't know.
Okay.
We just do.
Interesting. Okay, Callie?
The last game I pre-ordered was Heaven's Ward, and it was because I had to for LBR.
Yeah.
That's been it.
Yeah, I think that was the last one that I really pre-ordered.
I'm in the same boat as Chris. I will only pre-order if there is a bonus to it, but even then, I do it like 2 days before.
Yeah.
I guess Overwatch was a bit of a different story, but I mean, Chris had played the beta so much, he knew that he was going to like that game. So.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah, Praxis Packs. It did have stuff.
It is one thing when you've had an open beta that you can go around and play, and then you choose to pre-order after. Like, okay, I've played what will most likely be at least a resemblance of the final game. I like it. I'm on board.
Yeah.
But there's so many games like Pokemon Sun and Moon. I can't have done that. There's not gonna be a beta test for Sun and Moon.
Right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, exactly what you're gonna get with a Pokemon game.
That hasn't changed in 20-some years.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, like, Pokemon does its DLC, which you could kind of look at as the exclusive Pokemon or the legendaries that they give out through GameStop. That's kind of the closest thing that game series has to DLC.
I don't know. I would call like Pokemon X
the second versions of that.
That's a DLC.
That's kind of fair.
Yeah,
that's sort of fair.
I'm in the bubble,
all of the re-releases.
On.
Yeah, okay,
I can
fine.
see in the bubble.
Fine, that's a little fair. But they definitely don't do it as the same way that other game developers and other game companies do and present DLC. They've got a definitely different approach to it, and it's interesting that they haven't gone the route of doing pre-order DLC, attached to Pokemon because they could easily add an exclusive Pokemon that you only get through pre-ordering, but they don't do that. And I think Nika actually hit on exactly why. Because if you have a physical copy that you need to put into your DS, then that changes the nature of, how many people are going to be walking in there day one to be able to purchase it or pre-order it.
I always reserve definitely anything that I want that's physical, because there are some games that I just love so much that I have to own it just to have it on my shelf, and so I always reserve those. And I have loyalty to my GameStop because I actually like my GameStop, so I will reserve physical copies through GameStop.
Let me just tell you, Nika, you're the only person.
Nika, nobody loves GameStop.
You're the only person.
No, I love my GameStop because I worked there and I had very, very pleasant experiences working there. So I have loyalty.
Again, I'm going to state this again. You're the only one, Nika.
And I don't care.
Nika,
I don't
you're
care that I'm the only one. I am not trying to be part of a mass of people.
Nika, you're among friends here. You don't gotta lie.
Yeah, it's okay.
But then, of course, things with like the Square-Enix games, like I reserved FF10 and 10-2's remake. I reserved Heaven's Word and 15, and like they make you do it through the Square-Enix store if you want to get it.
Nika, it's okay. You can.
You have a problem. We can help you.
Show me on the doll where the GameStop touched you.
Why does this surprise you guys? We learned earlier that her opinions are always wrong. Just let her be wrong.
My opinions are, you will see when my optimism pays off and that these games are fantastic.
Oh,
and when they aren't, we are going to savage you so.
But then I'll admit it. If the game is bad, I will admit it.
Okay, but you realize that admitting it is not going to make us spare you.
I will own it.
Well, okay, but there's a difference between
you guys have this extreme pessimism and it makes me sad. Like, you guys must live very sad lives if your outlook on video games is this negative. How's your outlook on
video games? I'm excited for Andromeda. I'm excited for Pokemon Sun and Moon.
You're one of the few people I know excited for Andromeda. Like, I am, simply because I'm a Mass Effect fan, but honestly, we haven't heard much of anything about that.
I can still be excited about it.
Hey, I'm excited for new Dark Souls DLC. So
that makes sense. Dark Souls is out. It's already done well. But there's a lot of people that are really hesitant, especially after the way Mass Effect 3 ended, to say that Andromeda is going to be any good. So why, Robbie, are you still excited for that?
Because they haven't showed us any reason not to be, and I thought that the whole Mass Effect ending drama was bullshit anyway.
God, that's
the game was good.
I liked it too, but there are very few people that are of the same opinion.
No, I think you know what? No, I think that's a really good point, and Nika's actually kind of pinning you down, Robbie, on something that I'd like to get an answer to, because she's exactly right. Like, there are a lot of people who, coming off of Mass Effect 3, who felt so burned by the ending of that game and so negative on the series that it does seem kind of interesting that like, I can understand why fans of Mass Effect might not be totally sold on Andromeda's quality yet. Mm-hmm. So I that's a good question, Nika. Why are you specifically sold on it, Robbie? I mean, I know you said that the ending
consistency. I wasn't one of the people that was hurt by the ending, and so far they haven't shown me anything to doubt the game. Just because they haven't shown,
but they haven't shown you anything of the game.
What? So what? If they've delivered 3 quality games that I enjoyed, just because they're not going, look, here's proof of the 4th one. Why does that mean I should suddenly be like, oh shit, something's up?
Because I enjoyed 11 Final Fantasy games all in a row, and then 12 came out, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but like 12, 13, and like the sequels to 13 were all bad.
Yeah, I mean,
they've painted the well.
For something like 20 years, I liked Final Fantasy games until that came crashing down with a resounding thud of 12 and 13.
But you did remain excited for 12 until it hit.
I remained excited for 13 until it hit.
That's what I mean.
I was able.
That hasn't happened for him
That's
yet.
kind of my point. Is that I even had the hype goggles on past a game where I thought it went to shit, and I've learned from that, and I can't ever go back to that. Right? Like, Final Fantasy kept me. I was like, yeah, all right. They didn't have a great one with 12, but 13 they're going to turn it around, and they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I can only be fooled by that so many times.
Okay, well, see, you've been turned into a complete cynicist then, because what about 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10? Like, those all were good, and then you get one bad game?
But each time
bad games.
Think about it though. Each time a Final Fantasy game came out, when 8 came out, people didn't like it because it wasn't 7, and then when 9 came out, people didn't like it because it wasn't 8. Then 10 came out, oh, it's too much of a movie. It's not like 9. Like every single time that shit happened. My question to you, Robbie, was more aimed at because we've seen nothing about Andromeda, and there was so much controversy over the ending. Why are you so hype about that? Whereas 15 has showed us, I would say 90% good things that make it look like it's going to be good, but you're still so negative about it.
I don't know about
That's what
Okay, I have a question.
Because of, first of all, how long it's taken. The fact that, yeah, you're right, they've rebranded the game, they've scrapped the game. You don't do that to a good game. You don't sit here with verses and be like, oh man, this game is going to be so great, let's repurpose it. That is not what you do. That's not what you do. If you have a good game, you stay on track. But if you have doubts and concerns, you pivot, okay? The reason that Mass Effect does not concern me is because that company has not given me a single reason not to. Well, what about Final Fantasy 15? That's Square-Enix. It's not BioWare. When they come out with the first trailer, when they actually start showing footage, if I don't like it, then I'll be the first one to say so. But they have my faith until that happens.
I don't think it's consistent dogma then. I mean, because
I think it's extremely consistent.
Oh, I don't think so because again, that would have been like me saying, look, Final Fantasy 15 is going to be good on the second trailer that they ever showed when you had just when it was still versus 13. Like at that point, when you were a year and a half into its development, and you saw nothing of the game, it would be easy to form that opinion. It's easy to form the opinion that, oh, well, Mass Effect's going to be good because they haven't shown anything.
That's not what I'm saying. You're twisting my words. I'm not saying it's good because they haven't shown anything. I'm saying that you can't say it's bad because of the same reason.
Oh, you can't say it's good either.
But I can still be excited for it.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, you were excited for 12. It was shit. Oh, but it's okay. They'll turn 13 around.
But you don't.
Oh, it was shit.
But you don't.
And now 15's giving you actual reasons to think it's shit. So no, there's nothing inconsistent with my dogma.
But wait, you don't understand how other Mass Effect fans may not.
But we're not talking about other Mass Effect fans. We're talking about my opinion. If there's people who are hesitant about it, that's fine. I get that because gamers, especially when they get burned once, they don't fucking forget. But I didn't feel burned by Mass Effect 3. It was one of the greatest games I've ever played.
Once the extended ending came out, it was good.
The original ending was the extended ending. I was fine with the original ending.
Wait. What?
I was fine with the original ending.
No.
It's about the journey.
You're telling me that you're this big of a cheerleader for Mass Effect and you didn't even get the free DLC for the ending?
Oh no, well I got it down because it downloads automatically for you, but I haven't beaten it since.
Did it just do the ending again?
No. You have to start all over.
No, you don't. Just reload a save.
No, I'm saying, Nika. I'm saying you don't just restart a save. You start over. I will actually be able to see this ending with the people on stream when I get there, and they will get to see my unfiltered reaction to it.
I'm blown away with how big of a fan you are that you did not watch that.
People are different types of fans, Nika, okay? And I thought that what they delivered with their first initial vision was fine.
The initial vision was horrible.
Interesting.
I don't actually know anything about it. I mean, I know that it was a big deal, but I know nothing about.
So then nothing mattered. None of your choices mattered in the game at all.
Well, yeah, I know that was the big complaint about it.
Basically a big lie.
Yeah, but I don't know why that mattered. So.
I had a question there. I don't really feel like it's relevant, but I still want to ask it.
Okay.
Robbie, are the Mass Effect people who did Mass Effect 3 and the 1, 2, and 3, are those the same people who are making Andromeda?
The same team? Like the same dev team?
Yeah, same dev team.
Probably not.
As I understand.
They slowly started to fracture away. So it does give me a bit of pause, but I know that it's going to be a completely different game based on the fact that it's not like a direct it's not the fourth one in the series. It's 200 years in the future. It's removed from the Shepard trilogy. So it's sharing the Mass Effect name. So I don't need a game that feels exactly like Mass Effect so long as the spirit of Mass Effect is still there.
Yeah, but that's
I agree with that sentiment.
But I don't know. I think that's kind of like a little bit what we're getting at is that it's only Mass Effect in name. I mean, like you could strip Mass Effect off of that name and it could become any other game at this point. That's literally all we know about it. It could be, yeah. I mean, it could be a copy and paste of No Man's Sky. No,
so I should be pessimistic about it.
No, you should be critical of it.
About other things, but when we
is something I will be. But until then, I'm going to remain optimistic.
Why? You have no reason to. You have as much. Hang on. You have as much reason to be optimistic about Mass Effect Andromeda as you do to be optimistic about the FF7 remake because we know exactly the same amount about both of those games.
That's a lie.
Actually, we know more about FF7.
We know a lot more.
I don't oppose FF7 because I think it's going to be bad. Stop trying to trigger me.
All right, so let's say we get our first Mass Effect Andromeda trailer, and it's like, it actually is a flashback, right? And it goes back to like a big critical moment when Shepard is blowing up a big ship, right? And he gets sucked into this wormhole, and then inside this wormhole, like time is all distorted and stuff, and then there's zombies and stuff, and they have like big crystal horns coming out.
How would you feel about that game?
Out of their heads, and then there's like a 4-player co-op system, and you have to survive.
Question, Robbie, how would you feel about that?
The 4-player co-op that they had in 3 was pretty awesome.
It was.
Give it a try. Or maybe something would snap down in like a deep part of my brain that I can't really explain, and I would grab a butcher knife and I would go into the room and I would carve you up.
Why me though? I'm not trying to trigger you. All these people are saying they're trying to hurt you for liking something that you really like, and I'm fine with you liking Mass Effect. I don't know why these people are trying to shut you down, Robbie. I'm actually kind of appalled.
Well, no, I just there's no reason to be hype about it. And here's actually here's the point. No, here's my point. Here's my point. When I say here's my point, I'm about to say something important.
Should I talk in front of you?
No, you really shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Now I lost my point. Good job, guys. Way to go.
You can talk now, Robbie. You're welcome.
Okay, here's my point. You're right. There's no reason to be hype. There's no reason to be optimistic. But there's no reason not to be either.
Because hype culture is bullshit.
I'm not hype. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you?
I'm not like pissing my pants over it. Like
I don't
when
know.
they screenshots, right? You guys like, hey, Robbie, what'd you think? I'm like, they're screenshots. They don't really show much.
But you just said you were on the hype bandwagon. Honestly, like for me,
hype bandwagon, did I?
For me, dude, I can't get excited about anything, even if it's a name, because I've been disappointed so many and so often. So many times and so often.
I get it. So because Daddy's been hurt, the rest of us can't love.
Well, I'm curious. I don't know. I don't understand where your optimism comes from. I don't understand where Nika's optimism comes from.
It's not optimism.
Sure.
I'm excited for the game because I want a Mass Effect game, okay? You're right.
That's the only reason I'm excited for it is because I want a Mass Effect game.
I don't know. But I'm not going to say it will be shitty. I save that for DC movies.
Amen.
Well, yeah, boy, there.
No, not wrong. Not wrong. Look, I can't find it in myself to be an optimist about games in development anymore. I can't get on the hype. The hype train. I can't get into the pre-orders. I can't get into the DLC. I can't get into any of it.
What about Dark Souls DLC? You're not hype about that?
No, I mean, that looks...
Dark Souls is already delivered. It's a little bit different when a game's already out.
Well,
you just said you weren't hype about DLC.
Yeah, I think that's valid.
How about that new Kojima game coming out?
Oh my god.
Yeah, what about that? Are you hyped for that?
No,
Nate?
I'm not, because we haven't. That's sight unseen.
I don't know very much about it.
You don't know a single thing.
And
Nika's right.
About it?
Nika's right. Dark Souls has delivered solidly. That's a game that they're extending that I know that I like. That's completely different. Am I totally on board the hype train? No, I can't get on board the hype train for anything. And I mean, I guess if that makes me a pessimist, I'm willing to say, fine, I'm a pessimist. But at what point, like, how do you guys find the will to not be that pessimistic about this shit anymore. Like, I mean, like, honestly, we've sat around, we talked about the disappointments around FF15, the disappointments around No Man's Sky, which is tangible. That's actually tangible. We actually have those disappointments in our hand. We're not even looking down the road at those disappointments.
We can feel them.
Those are palpable failures.
They're clumpy and a little sticky. Wait, that's my dick. Shit.
Wait, you clumpy? You better get that checked out, man.
Yeah, that's a serious problem you got.
At what point? At what point do you just go, man? I can't even work up the enthusiasm about another one. It's like movie trailers, man. Movie trailers don't get me to go see a movie ever, never. Not in the last 10 years. It's a movie review that gets me to go see a movie, and even then, it's very rare that it gets me out of the house to go to a fucking theater.
See, I don't like reviews because critics, like from what I've noticed, especially in recent years, critics always have like a 60% differing opinion than the people who go see it. So I don't even trust reviews either. I trust myself. So once a game comes out, once a movie comes out, and I see it and judge for myself, that's when I'm off the bandwagon.
But you're already in it for $60 or $25 or whatever the fuck. You've already dropped the money.
A collector's edition that was $280.
You've already dropped the money. Like, that's the thing it prevents me. It prevents me from spending the money, which is the entire point of making the thing in the first place. I'll read about it. I'll watch YouTube videos on it. I'll do the, like, fuck, I didn't even go see Civil War, man. I saw some reviews of it, and I was like, I got it.
What?
Yeah.
It was so good.
After finally getting caught up on the MCU.
Civil War was so good.
Nate,
I'm with you. I haven't pre-ordered something in ages because until it's out and someone tells me that it's decent, I'm not playing it. I don't care. I can't care until it's out. You got me on your side, so deal with that.
You have Callie on your side.
Congrats.
If that's not reason to get on a hype train, I don't know what is.
Choo choo, motherfucker.
See, I'm like, Nate asks why you can be so optimistic. I think I just try to be an optimist about everything, like even in life. Like, I'm not a very pessimistic person. So when I see a game trailer, unless the game, like, I don't know, unless the trailer just looks so overwhelmingly bad, which trailers usually don't, I'm usually pretty optimistic until I see the game for myself.
And that matches up with Nika. She is annoying.
I'm an optimist.
Whereas, Nate, you're the opposite of Nika, right?
Annoyingly pessimistic.
Me, I like to be ophthalmologist. I like to be positive about something I like until that specific thing gives me reason not to. Wasn't a big fan of 12. 13 sucks. 15 looks like a train wreck. So Square-Enix has hurt me before. So I'm with you on that, Nate, okay? BioWare hasn't. Everything BioWare has put out, I've liked. So I have no reason to be pessimistic towards them. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean hype train, okay? There are different stages. It's not like you have to be hype or you have to hate it. There can be in-betweens, right? I'm excited to have something that continues the Mass Effect ideology. If it sucks, okay, then guess what? The Mass Effect after that, they're gonna have concerns of mine they're gonna have to address.
See, I think I'm actually even more critical of the things that I like. If I know
things I like too.
If I know that I like it, I will sit there and I will pick it apart for the things that I could possibly end up not liking. And I mean, yeah, fine. That's fine. You want to call me a pessimist? That's totally fine. Although, the thing that I get really, really sick of, and this kind of comes on the heels of reviewers and stuff like that, is these people who are under the impression that the media that they consume has to be a 100% reflection of all of their values and all of their opinions and everything that they think and feel. And I can guarantee you that there are some people out there who are listening to this episode right now who are offended at the fact that I'm a Final Fantasy fan coming out here and saying Final Fantasy 15 has more of a chance of being bad than it has of being good. And I don't give a shit. That's fine if you don't agree with me. I don't care if you don't agree with me. But for the people who will go inevitably to the YouTube comment section and comment, fuck this show, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, this game's gonna be great, fuck these haters.
Except Nika, she's cool.
Which is it? Yeah. Which
Hi,
is
Nika.
which is exactly what I mean. Like, if you guys were paying attention to when they had actually announced the pushback of the release of 15, like there were a whole bunch of people, because it came out on on news sites first before it was officially confirmed by Square Enix themselves, who were they went through very ugly periods of being called liars, having every story that they've wrote discredited. I mean, like, the people, the fans of FF15, just you know what? Fuck all of you. I don't get hype. Fuck all of you for that response to that article.
And also fuck you, Nika.
And if you want to get mad, at me for thinking that the game might be anything but awesome, then you need to embrace the fact that you're living in a bubble, that the only media that you're going to consume is the media that reflects your values, your ideas, and your opinions. And guess what? That's not what this show has ever been. That's not what this show is going to start being, and we're never going to be that. Okay? We're not going to be a sounding board for all of the fanboy shit that you guys put out into the internet sphere. I don't give a shit whether or not you agree with any one of us, all 5 of us. Fuck it, I don't care. All right, if you want to take us to task, then call up the show and talk to us. But otherwise, I'm not interested in your stupid YouTube comment bullshit that you're inevitably going to leave on this video. Go fuck yourself preemptively, and the game is going to suck. Period.
Do you think that Square Enix needs us to succeed? I mean, for the franchise?
Yeah.
Probably, I think they've said this is make or break, isn't it?
Yeah, they've said it, and we know. Everybody knows it. And I'm not going to deny that there's potential for the game to fail. I am actually, I mean, even though I'm an optimist, I'm looking at what I've been given. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm looking at the good things that I do see, looking at the reasons for the delay, and saying that I still feel that it has more potential to be good than bad at this point in my analysis. That's it. Right. I'm not saying that it's not going to be bad. It could easily be bad.
So because this is make or break, if you don't buy Final Fantasy 15, that means you hate Final Fantasy.
That's, you know what? I mean, honestly, at this point, they haven't earned my $60. They have not earned it.
You will take down Square Enix all by yourself.
Fine, good. That's fine. I don't care. You know what? They should have thought about that when they got my $9 to go see Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Okay.
Spirits Within was good as a movie, though.
No, it wasn't.
Not as a Final Fantasy.
We're not even going to go down that. We're not going down that road. We're going to go to our phone lines real quick. We've got a couple of people hanging on. We're going to try to get through these real quick. Sorry if we don't keep you on very long. Sevo Kevo, what's going on, Sevo Kevo?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Thanks for calling, FEC. What do you want to talk about?
First off, screw you, Robbie, for talking over my donation. Fuck you, man. Second of all, no, I just want to give in my opinion of earlier what was happening, that when the demo came out, I actually kind of agreed with Aniro that the voice kind of didn't feel right. But then whenever the trailers came out and more the show, the most recent trailer that just came up, I agree more with Nika than because it seems like the voice and the voice actor and the character fit better. That's more I wanted to put. And oh man, I just lost it.
It happens to the best of us.
No, but that was my opinion, is that, like, the game, I have a benefit of doubt that it's going to be good. This has to be good, otherwise the company is going to be hurting because
the fact that it has to be good doesn't mean it's going to be good.
That is true. Yeah, no, and that's a good point, Nika, that the fact that it has to be good is not indicative that it will be good. And I do agree that it has to be good in order for Square Enix as a company to remain viable. I mean, they can't dump 10 years worth of production into one piece and then have it fail. That's just, I mean, you think about the amount of resources being dumped into that project over 10 years and then to have it flop is really going to hurt the company big time.
That is another reason why I'm optimistic, though, is because they also know this is make or break, and they know that if they make a bad game, they're screwed. So I do think that they're putting a lot more effort, which is also probably part of the reason they're delaying it. Like, they know if we release this too early and it flops, we're fucked. So this is what they're doing.
Nika, let me ask you a question. Okay, based on Square Enix's performance as a development studio, not as a publishing company, because they've published some very successful, good games, but as a development studio, in the last 5 to 10 years, can Square Enix make a good game at all?
I think so.
Like at all, period. Because I would say,
what's your definition of good? Like, if it comes out and it's like, it's a decent game, it could be better. Like, is that still a fail to you?
If it's a Final Fantasy title, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
I was gonna say Bravely Default, but you said Final Fantasy.
I mean, if it's a
so he said, can Square Enix as a development company make a good game? I think they can.
I mean, I Am Setsuna was not received very well. What else has been theirs in?
I'm actually looking up right now
in the last couple of months. I mean, the last couple
and Bravely Second.
The last couple of Dragon Quest spin-offs did not do very well.
World of Final Fantasy just came out. Sorry, that's still coming out. Hold on.
Final Fantasy Xvius.
Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 3. What?
What?
Dragon Quest only? Builders.
Okay.
Figurehead School of Ragnarok. I haven't even heard of half of these.
These must be JP only releases.
Heaven's War. We've heard of that one. Heaven's War.
That was a flop.
Bravely Second. That was in conjunction with Silicon Studio.
Did they make Tomb Raider?
Final Fantasy
No, they
Type
published
0.
Tomb Raider.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They published Tomb Raider. That was an IDOS.
Final Fantasy Explorers. That didn't do well. Dead Man's all the ones that Dead Man's Cross. I don't think that was released. Like, it's red, so I can't even click on it. The page does not exist. If that gives you any... Look, we're back to 2014 now. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix. Rise of Mana. It's not looking good.
I mean, like, honestly, I'm really, and I mean this genuinely, because this is a thought that I've had. I mean, does Square Enix have the capacity to produce good games anymore? I don't know that they do.
I want to say they do have the capacity, but I will say that I'm not going to judge you for having reservations about it.
And so my follow-up to that is, if Square Enix had made a bad game with Final Fantasy 15, would they know it? Meaning that
no, because they don't realize 13 was bad.
And so now, like, this is getting at the heart of, like, what I'm talking about here, because, like, if they don't know the difference between a good and a bad game, then what hope is there for FF15 to be good?
Crush my soul here.
Hope was 13 though. They wouldn't have another Hope game.
Stop. God.
No, I mean, I really.
You're right. Like, when's the last time they produced something great?
It's been a long time.
I mean, I think we all admit that the reboot of when Realm Reborn came out, and even though Heaven's Word was not the greatest addition to the game, it has not been horrible. 14 is their biggest success in recent years.
I agree.
But it started horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was also one that they completely, as you were saying, was a bad, they completely scrapped everything and started over, which you said was a bad idea for Versus 13, and that's scary. But they did the same thing for 14, and look what happened. It became a much better game. So in my optimistic view, Versus 13 was bad. They got a new team, just like 14 did. They scrapped everything, restarted, and it's going to be a much better game because of it.
I always viewed the scrapping of Versus 13 more as a reaction to people's, like, not liking 13. That's what always viewed me driving back.
Exactly. And
because they changed the universe and the lore a bit, so it doesn't tie in as much.
Yes, but the thing is that they didn't, like, they only really changed small aspects of it, because, like, if you to me, if they were switching from a spin-off game from 13 and they were meaningfully working on a 15 that was its own thing, they wouldn't have looked at Versus 13 and gone, oh, well, we could make that 15. You know what I mean? Like, that was the first red flag for me. And it's just, I mean, like, it just continues. Like, the more we find out about it, like, it'll be.
I looked at it.
It's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Every time.
I looked at the change from Versus 13 to 15 more as a, well, this game has actually turned out to be more than a spin-off, and it's big enough to be its own game, so let's make it its own game.
Wow,
yeah, that's way more optimism than I'm willing to throw at the table.
So I found it, guys. I found the last Square Enix developed game that I actually personally
Don't say Final Fantasy VII.
really liked.
Don't say it.
And actually, I think I need to look a little bit further because.
Is it actually Square Enix or was this a Squaresoft?
No,
okay, all right.
This is Square Enix.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
And I want to keep going because I feel like this is actually on the line because I know a lot of people hated it, and it really wasn't the best game. But in December 2005 and January 2006, Dirge of Cerberus and Kingdom Hearts 2.
11 years ago.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
But here's
Kingdom Hearts 2 was a good game.
Dirge was terrible.
Yes, but like Dirge of Cerberus wasn't the best game. I enjoyed it, but I have to go back. Like, first of all, I found something else, guys. Did you know Lords of Vermilion was an actual game that Square Enix developed?
Oh my God!
Yes.
Don't. Let's
As
not
of
go down
November
there.
7th, 2008.
We
Lords
know.
of Vermilion.
We know.
Shut
we
up.
know.
Okay.
That's why they made Lords of Vermilion.
We
Obviously.
know.
Otherwise, I'm still looking. I'm still looking.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, did Lords of Vermilion ever come out in the United States?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Final Fantasy Record Keeper. That's a good game.
Ugh.
It's good.
It's successful.
No, I think Record Keeper knew how to utilize a mobile platform and did it well.
My God, there hasn't been. I'm at the birth of Square Enix, and besides Kingdom Hearts 2, and I'm not even counting Service because it was a bad game. I liked it, but it was
12 was Square Enix, right? I don't understand why you guys don't like 12. It was such a great game.
12 was fine.
12 was very divisive.
I look. I would go back and replay 12 because I admit, and I've said this, and I'll do this with the HD remake. I'll go back and play it because you're right. I don't have the best memory of 12, but I'm totally willing.
I'd like to hear your opinion now.
Totally willing to admit that my opinion now might be drastically different from when I played it at 20 years old.
Yeah,
I will agree with that as well.
Is the Steam version out yet?
No,
With
not
the
yet.
International Zodiac thing?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, that's not. That's
play
not
that
for
version.
anything yet.
Yeah, no, and I will plan on doing that. But it was 12 that was the first Final Fantasy game that when I played it for the first time, I went.
It was different. It was a lot more focused on the political aspects.
Yes, but again, it was.
The English was a little off-putting at first.
When you're just simply measuring sentiment, like you with every other Final Fantasy game that I ever played, and I even went this is when I started going back in the series to go like, was this always a good series? Was at 12. Like 12 made me go, well, where are they pulling a lot of this from? And I started to open myself up more to the other games in the Final Fantasy series, and I never quite felt like I felt with 12 where I went,
See, now 12 is actually Surin's favorite.
I mean, it's got to be somebody's favorite, sure.
I would like
13 is Skuro's favorite. Come on.
That makes
Surin
sense.
has a legitimate good taste in games, I would say.
And look, again, something that I want to, because I'm with Nate 100% everything he said so far. I don't think that 12 was a bad game, okay? There's just something about it that never felt Final Fantasy to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. It did strip something that felt essentially Final Fantasy out of it. All right, let's take our last call here of the night on Final Encountercast. Guys, thank you for your calls. We're going to talk to Matt. Matt, thanks for calling Final Encountercast.
Hey, guys. It's nice to talk to you again.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. What do you want to talk about?
I just wanted to talk about the mentality that developers are perceived to have, and that seems to be causing a lot of the issues that we're having here tonight. A lot of the discussion, very spirited, and I appreciate that. But I think there's a little bit too much salt flowing through your veins right now. You may want to cut back on the sodium, sir.
Okay.
I'm concerned about your health. I am concerned about your health, sir.
He's fueled by it, dude.
Well, I look, it's the same critical view that allows me to have such a unique take on video games and on anything that we talk about. And I mean, I think that it's one of the advantages that I bring to a show like this. So I mean, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to change my perspective, but I'm open to hearing what you got to say.
Well, from my perspective, I always like to give the game a chance in and of itself, not even looking at its marketing material, to give me a chance to look at it and appraise it for what it actually is, and not what I want it to be.
Like what I did with No Man's Sky earlier.
That is a $60 chance, though. That is true. It's a $60 chance. I mean, that's the thing is.
Well, why not rent it on GameFly?
No Man's Sky?
Great. I'll be customer number 12 to GameFly. I'm so excited to be able to give them a little bit of business.
$30 a month, isn't it?
It's really expensive.
Yeah.
It's so much more expensive than Netflix ever was. But I mean, that's besides the point. Look, it's a big initial investment. It's a big initial ask for someone to drop a price tag like $60 or even $40 on a game that is not 100% proven in that person's mind. So, I mean, I appreciate that you're a much more adventurous gamer than I am. But look, you can see behind Callie that I've got a fairly sizable record collection. I wouldn't drop $4 on a 7-inch unless I had a reasonable suspicion that it might be pretty good.
Oh yeah, I agree. Your investment in that degree is well and justified, and I'm not asking anyone to fork over $60. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't buy 15 until it came down in price quite a bit. Me being rather frugal with my money, I like to spend on things I know that are a sure thing, and I do take some accounting for my taste with the people that I listen to, and I listen to this crew a lot, and I think you guys reflect a lot of what I actually enjoy about video games.
Well,
I like the adventure, I like the story, I enjoy having a challenge to come along and make me change the way that I look at things. I love games that change my perspective of the world. Things that show me something I've never seen before or never considered in quite that way. But yeah, even when you have something that's on fire, like Far Cry Primal was when it first came out, or Far Cry 4 when it was released. But yeah, I'm going to wait for Final Fantasy 15 to come down a little bit. I'm still actually going to have to get a console. I'm actually going to have to get a console first before I can even play the game first. Yeah. So that's going to be an investment in and of itself.
I have a question though. What if the game comes out and it has 100% amazing reviews? Would you still wait for it to come down, or would you be like, okay, I'll spend $60 on this?
Unfortunately, right now I don't have much of a choice but to wait at this point. My finances are pretty tight.
But if it wasn't specifically for that, if it was just for your mentality of I usually wait just because I would rather wait, but if you found a game that was so great and you had the monetary means to do so, would you spend the $60 or?
Oh, I have in the past quite easily and very willingly. I've done that for Far Cry 4 when that came out, and I did not regret it for a second. But in my current situation, I'm going to have to be a bit more frugal. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait.
Right.
I have to wait.
Right.
First for the console.
Well, we got a PS4 we're not using. We should probably send you.
But I think that's totally fair. But I think I'm in a different boat where I've been burned by too many of them, and I just getting me to come back is a big ask. Every time I walk into a GameStop, which is not often, and they try to sell me on pre-orders or they try to sell me on the club card, I always tell them, look, I used to work here. I understand what this is. No, please don't ask me again. And, it's frustrating as a consumer to have to do that, but it's also frustrating to know that, this is also the state of the industry that we care about. We've seen the nickel and diming of movie industries and the slow slide of quality in TV over decades of disinvestment, and I know that every media has that same sort of growing pains that they have to go through. It's sad when you can see some of the poor decisions that are being made that are driving, and a lot of it is greed. Like when you talk about DLC, most of those decisions, the frustrating decisions, are driven by greed. And look, no one's saying that you have to make games out of altruism. No one has ever said that. We understand that this is a profit-driven business. No one is saying don't make money. But what we're we're saying is, like, where are the people who are going to make the right decision for the game despite the money that might walk out the door? I think Kojima was one of the last people to be able to do that. That's why he gets my respect and what little faith I have left in this industry at all. But other than that, my trust and my ability to be hyped has been steadily worn down to nothing, and it makes me want to lash out at hype culture.
This is true. I agree completely with that statement. We also have to realize that nobody wants to put out a bad product, that nobody wants to have a project that's going to flop. And plus, when you're a developer and your product has been sitting behind the firewall for 10 years, you have to ship someday.
Yes, that's true.
You have to ship someday, and better sooner than later. Because if you wait too late, you have become irrelevant, and nobody will look at you when you finally make it to the finish line.
Well, there's also a
movie.
There's also a bubble, though. Like, I feel like when you have a game that's in development for that long, that inside the company there becomes a bubble around that development project. And I mean, what is the external input that they've taken on this? I know that we've gotten 2 demos that they've taken a lot of public feedback on, but other than that, we've had no public beta. We've had some trade show demos, but we haven't had those widely available to the public. And so, I like those 2 demos actually indicate to me that the product is going to end up being worse because it's necessitated 2 demos. What game can you think of that's needed 2 demos to make its point?
They're very different
That is
demos.
a good question.
You know,
2
Nate,
demos.
what this whole FF15 thing reminds me of, the more and more we talk about it, is Silicon Valley. How much they've had to shift and pivot and change the way they do it. Right?
Yes. See, you're getting it. Robbie's getting it.
No, I get it from the beginning, and I even get what you mean about hype culture, like the idea that you need to put pre-order bonuses and special items and crap like that to make people hyped about it.
Yeah.
I get that. When I get hyped about something, it's because of what it's delivered to me in the past, not what it's going to give to me.
Absolutely.
And that is something that is very toxic about this industry, where you have to give a pre-order bonus, where you have to give people access to it a week in advance if they pre-order, where you have to show them behind the curtain and show them the meat and the sausage being made while they're actually eating it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate that about restaurants, by the way. Like Subway doing it, cool. But now McDonald's does it. Oh, so gross. Always drive-through. Always drive-through.
Anyway, well, thank you very much for your call tonight, Matt. We've enjoyed talking to you. Got any shout-outs before we let you go?
I've got. I'd like to give a shout-out to my wife. Her name's Tammy. You may know her better as a BFO. She's a big fan of the show, you guys, and we love listening to you guys every week. So kudos to you for putting out such a great show and for having such spirited discussions. You guys rock.
We're a family show.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate the call. We appreciate
Paul?
Yeah, we appreciate the sentiment. That was that was very kind of you. And we also appreciate you guys listening every week to Final Encounter Cast. If you just stumbled on this show and you're like, God, man, this has been an interesting conversation, you can find more of our shows over at finalencountercast.com. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/finalencountercast and on Twitter at FEC Podcast. Now, again, I want to say, we stated this at the top, but I wanted to go back and say it again. This show is supported by your support. We are listener supported, and that's all through your efforts over at patreon.com/limitbreakradio. We have a goal to keep that patron fund at over $2,000 a month to be able to keep this show weekly. So if you like this show each and every single week, then we want to invite you to head on over to patreon.com/limitbreakradio and give today. One more thing that I wanted to mention before we wrap up the show here is that Callie, Robbie, and I actually got together yesterday and did our very, very first trial run,
the pilot
of our new show that we're going to be producing here from the Let's Be Real network, and we're super excited about this. It went really well. I mean,
Yes.
when we kind of like left the room, it was like, wow, that was a really, really fun time. So,
I like the new guy.
We're gonna be sharing that when we have something to share. If you are a patron member, we might, keyword might do an exclusive stream for you guys of maybe one of our future trial run sessions. So
I like that idea.
If you want to get in on the initial formation of this content, again, patreon.com/limitbreakradio is the way to be able to do that. And if you're already a patron, look out in the next couple of days for some information coming your way about that exclusive stream. So, again, that's patreon.com/limitbreakradio.
Would you consider that a pre-order bonus?
It's not a pre-order bonus. It's not. Nope. That's just what we get. That is
And
exclusive.
don't you dare get hype about it.
That is exclusive content that patrons get to get. So while it's not DLC, it's exclusive to.
Death Cloud says he's been let down by podcasts before.
That's good.
That was a good one.
Shirts are coming, guys.
Yes, we are. We've got the second round of shirts that are going to be coming. Those are on order, and those will definitely be shipped out to get to you guys before FanFest. If you're going out to the FF14 FanFest, we're going to be out there in Las Vegas. Show off your awesome LBR swag that you can pick up over at limitbreakradio.com and over at patreon.com/limitbreakradio. Guys, that's going to do it here for today. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us live here at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. Again, if you've had a good time tonight, make sure to hit that follow button and come back for all of the latest interesting and in-depth discussions about the gaming industry and all of the latest gaming news and info. That's here at Final Encountercast. I want to thank my crew. We've got Kooky Persona, who is hanging out on the phones. We've got Len, who's been filling in the studio, and of course our hosts Chris, Robbie, Nika, and Callie. My name is Nate. Have a good one. Final Encountercast is a production of FinalEncountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, Chris Gootseat, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. For links to articles mentioned on this episode, make sure to check out our live blog over at finalencountercast.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.